Hello my friends, in today's episode on Grainificent, I will be showing you my current collection of film cameras. I usually go through them because I use some of it, I sell it, I buy new equipment. I sometimes have more than I can fit in this room, so yes. So let's get to it. What do we have here interesting, right? Well, let's start from the broken cameras. Well, I got a Zenit 11 body. It has a destroyed shutter, so it's not worth it to repair. It's just a little paperweight and to decoration purposes, right? I also got this one, is Zenit E film camera. It also has a destroyed shutter, so I don't use it as well. So yeah, I got this basically when I was buying my Helios 44-2 lens that I use now in my videos. Well, the first video I used this on was, I think, the history of the Pentax company, or I'm 100% sure I used it doing a little show of this little fake Canon mate film camera. So if you want to see a video about this, about any camera I make here, I will be listing all the videos I made about these cameras down in the description below. So take a look down there if you're interested in any camera. So yes, I will be comparing also the Helios 44-2 and the 44M4 to see the differences. I know for sure that the 44M4 is newer, is sharper, but the bokeh on the 44-2 is much more swirly. So I will be doing a comparison of these lenses. You can buy them, at least in my country, for a few bucks American, so they're cheap. So I got two of those Helios lenses. And from the right side starting, I got some old family APS Kodak cameras. They were great cameras to use. Too bad that the APS film format is not made anymore, basically, because they were fun to use. Something like this and a little pocket camera like this, it was nice and handy in your pocket, and it wasn't as big as regular 35mm point and shoots are. So, and it was also automatic, because this knockoff is also an automatic. It's a little wider, thicker, bigger. Okay, so continuing on, I got the Kodak M38 film camera. It's a nice little plastic toy to have, but I would say not worth the money, because paying 30-40 bucks new for a camera like this Kodak and getting a knockoff that has more advanced functions for $1 or $2, yeah, that isn't calculatable that much. And the next, I still didn't make a camera about this one, is a Quasar 28mm fanny camera. It doesn't have a flash, but it does have a hot shoe that you could even mount flash triggers to do studio work with this. So that is an interesting little camera. I didn't take photos with it yet, but I'm planning to do more videos about this camera, tiny camera as well, and I will be trying it out in studio work. Put a flash trigger on here. I got a flash Quadralight flash trigger here, and it goes right on there, and you could take studio photography with it. It's funny. So subscribe down below so you don't miss it. And the next camera we've got, I'm doing it in random order. That's just an order I put them on the table in. I got the Leica M1 film camera. Beautiful sounding shutter with the foldable 50mm lens. Just like that, you can fold it, put it in your pocket. It is a very nice camera. I love it, but I hate the fact that it doesn't have a rangefinder. The M1, it's a rangefinder without a rangefinder, so that's the funny thing about it. So yeah, very great camera. I'm planning to sell it. Probably get an M5 or something like that. But a working rangefinder I do have is this Yashica Electro 35 GSN film camera. So it is an interesting camera to own. and I sometimes take it to take photos, but for some reason, if I'm into a slow process, I prefer interchangeable lenses. If I want to be on the run, I have autofocus film cameras here that will come up. So yeah, that's planning, probably will sell that as well. And this Retinet 1B, planning to sell it as well. I just need to develop a film I made on this to see if it does have even spacing of the framing, because I suspect that the advanced doesn't work properly and it probably will have overlaid frames. So I will then sell it as a not working properly camera for repairs, because I don't have currently time to do repairs like I used to do, like I used to have, or I'll just keep it as a nice paperweight decoration. And of course, next we have the Minolta SRT 101 film camera. So it's a wonderful, completely manual film camera. Of course, you need the battery to use the light meter, but if you don't cut the battery, you could still use it completely fine. And this has the 55 f2 put on currently. And from the Minolta lenses, while we're at them, I still have the 28 2.8 lens. I will have for the Minolta a zoom 35 to 70. It's a very old zoom that's falling apart, has a lot of scratches on the lenses. I got these for free basically for as non-working, but they do work. They're just a little bit too scratched up. And also this one's a Vivitar 28-105 lens. So it also works, but it has some mold in there. So I will have to clean it up. And when I will do the cleaning up, I will do some videos about how to take them apart, how to clean the lenses. So I'm not promising these videos, but I'm planning to do them. Okay, so where were we? Next here we got the Minolta X300S. It was one of my first film cameras after I came back to my film hobby, because the first film camera in my life was more like a Budweiser can film camera. But when I was a child, I used to shoot more on these APS film cameras. This one was specifically my personal film camera. I loved it. So too bad APS film isn't in anymore. And when I used more Sunny equipment, I had more of the Minolta cameras as well. I had more SRTs and a few other cameras, but I sold them already. So another film camera I have from Minolta will be this one over here, the Minolta XD11. It is a much heavier camera compared to the X300S, but it has a Leica shutter basically, so it sounds beautifully. That's a beautiful sound, the double click, the double shutter sound, because it first closes the aperture, then it takes a reading in the automatic functions, the priority functions, aperture priority and shutter priority. But what's good about this camera also is when you don't have a battery, as you see I don't have a battery in here, when you set it to O, it will still take a photo. The O function is 1/125th of a second, I think, if I remember correctly, or 1/100th of a second. I think it's 1/125th that it takes a photo fully mechanical. The other times are all electronically controlled, so you would need a battery for that. But if your battery runs out, you could use it at the O setting without any batteries. And so the next camera here I have is the Kodak Instamatic 100 film camera with a flash bulb still in there, completely usable. Just 126 film is a little bit too expensive, so I don't want to spend the money to use it. It's a fun little decoration piece. Here we got a Mamiya M645, the basic version with the 1/500th of a second maximum shutter speed, with the 80mm lens on there, so, and with the light meter prism viewfinder up on top. I have the waist level viewfinder as well, but I have this one connected. And to the Mamiya I also have the 210mm lens, more for portraits or stuff like that. I also had the 45mm, but I sold that because I don't like wide angles too much. I prefer close in, nice smooth background portraits. Yes, but I'm planning to sell this also to get into large format photography. So let's continue. Here we have a TLR film camera. It's the Polish-made Start 66S film camera. It is 6x6 medium format, square format. It has a hand-wound shutter and a simple release. Of course, a TLR, so it has a waist level viewfinder. Yes. So that's also why I'm planning to sell my Mamiya, because I have this camera, and if I'm doing some work, I like doing it on square format. This is a 75mm lens on here. Of course, this is a little wide-ish for me, but I for some reason prefer the square format over the rectangular format. And what else do we have? The last but not least, I have the Mamiya Secor 500 DTL film camera. It's a M42 mount film camera. So for the M42 mount I have this Porst Telezoom 75-205 3.5. It has constant light at 3.5, so it's almost like a 7200 f4 for the new from new companies, right? So it is an interesting lens. You zoom in a funny way, going up and down. Yes. I still didn't make too much videos about this camera because I still keep forgetting to buy the battery for this camera to check if all the functions work. So it will be an interesting review as well. And for M42 mount lenses, and other than the 70 to 200-ish M42 lens, I still have this Takumar 135mm f2.8. It does work, but I need to take it apart because for some reason it doesn't want to focus to infinity. It gets stuck before it gets to infinity. So I have to take a look inside it why it gets stuck. So that's to repair. And of course M42 are also the Helios lenses. And the final camera here from my film photography camera collection. I have this Canon EOS 5 film camera. It was a wonderful camera. It has the eye focus that you could choose with your eye which autofocus point you want to focus to, and it focuses in that point. It's not perfect, but it is a fun little toy to show off because I don't use that function. I prefer, since I'm used to setting my autofocus point by hand or stuff like that, I just set it to there. And on here I have the Canon 28-105 f3.5 to 4.5 lens. Yes, so it's almost like a 28-105 f4. So it takes some nice photos as well. And to this camera I will have the grip, but I don't have it taken out here currently. But I bought this camera to buy more EF mount lenses, so I will use them on this camera for film photography, and I will use them on my Canon for digital photography as well, so I can use the same lenses for film and digital. And from film related equipment, of course, didn't know if I should include this or not, because I'm not going to include the film loader or things like that, or darkroom equipment. That will be separate video about my darkroom, which is not built yet. I have completely no time to build it. I have this Sekonic light meter. It's on a nice chain in a nice little box for smaller amount of light. For daylight you set the settings and you can measure your light. Of course I never use it. It's a nice decoration, nice thing to have, but I never actually used it to measure light. I usually use the Sunny 16 rule, or I just use an app on my phone to measure the light. or I have a light meter in camera. Not all of them. But yes, that's the equipment I have. That's the film photography equipment I do have. I won't be doing too much videos like this because it would be repeating too often. That's the only video I'm gonna do. Yes, so unless one day I completely remodel my collection, maybe I could do an update at that time. But until then, this is what I have. When I make videos about cameras, sometimes they're cameras I bought for myself, sometimes they're cameras I rented, and sometimes they are cameras that somebody just gave me to check if they're working properly, and along the way I just made a video about it. So thank you for watching, my friends. If you like this video, please remember to subscribe down below and hit the like button to help with the YouTube algorithm. And comment down below, what are your most favorite film cameras? My most favorite from this collection? It would be a hard choice. Of course, first thing that comes to mind is a Leica, because who wouldn't love a Leica, right? But I don't take photos with my Leica, so I can't say it's my favorite when I'm not using it, right? So the camera I did use the most, well, I would say the XD. I probably use this the most. The Yashica is an interesting camera. The Canon EOS 5 is a great camera. But if I would have to grab a camera on the go, well, of course I'd grab this Canon Mate Fake to see how it works in the field, but that might not be the fact later on. So if I want to take something small, pocketable, film, I would probably currently take the Kodak M38 film camera if it's pocketable. If I want to be fancy, I will take the Leica or the Yashica. If I will depend on very wide aperture and I need that rangefinder, I will take the Yashica. If I want to make some nice portrait work with different lens range choices, I will probably go with the Canon EOS 5 because I have the adapter for M42 to EF, so I can mount the nice Helios bokeh lenses. So for creative work, I would go with the Canon EOS 5. For fun work, I would go with the rangefinders. And for quick pocket camera, I like having a flash with me for some simple work like that. So I'd take the Kodak M38, but this Canon Mate might replace it. So that's it. If you stayed all this time, take a look into my channel memberships, or there's a donation link down below if you would like to support my channel. Having a membership has lots of benefits. You can read the benefits in the membership tab as well. So one of the benefits is you can see these videos a lot earlier and see the ideas of these videos, a long list of videos ahead, what will come out. And also many members can decide which videos should I make first, or give even their own ideas of which videos I should make. So thank you for watching, my friends. Take care and see you in the next video.